So you might recall that last week Pokimane tried to give dating advice, and she was met with a lot of criticism from people who were saying, like, why is a 30-year-old single streamer trying to give dating advice to anyone? Like, not really the best person to listen to. And shortly after that, she seemed to have responded to those people somewhat indirectly by posting this clip where she goes on to explain why she is not married yet. But now things are taking a very strange turn, because Pokimane's posted another clip, and this time she's talking about getting married, except she's talking about marrying herself. We'll take a look at that clip in a second, but some additional context. 6 years ago, there was actually this like hardcore pro-feminist kick from a lot of female celebrities out of Hollywood, and they were talking about how empowering it is for women to marry themselves, to like self-partner. And then as soon as that news cycle arrived, it kind of just went away and you didn't really hear much about that sort of thing anymore. But now like 6 years later, Pokimane's over here trying to revitalize it. I'm not saying it's intentional, but she is saying like essentially the exact same thing that they were 6 years ago. So once again, here's this new Pokimane clip where she's talking about doing just that. Getting self-partnered, marrying herself.
Bought an engagement ring for myself. Okay, but you guys told me to. In the comments my last video, you guys kept talking about a ring. A lot of you were saying, girl, just go get one for yourself. So that's what I did.
All right, let's pause for a second and take a look at those comments that she had on screen. So the first comment says, low-key excited to see a massive ring on your finger now. And the second one says, girl, get yourself a ring at this point. Why the F are we waiting on men? That one getting a whole entire 24 likes. Wow. Better go get a ring now, because there was a comment with 24 likes telling me to do that. It's definitely because of them that I went and bought a fancy ring.
So that's what I did. A ring at Bulgari that I just fell in love with. It felt like way too much to get for myself, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, I hope someday I actually get engaged. The person that you are engaged to the most in your entire lifetime is your damn self. So why shouldn't I get this ring for my damn self? So this is me proposing to myself. Damn! Look at the gorgeous diamonds. Even the packaging is beautiful, the way that it contrasts. You know when jewelry is so pretty, you want to eat it? Is that just me? Like, it's so delectable. Will I be with me for the rest of my life? Well, yes, I've no choice, but yes. I'm gonna have the opportunity to gift my husband the sickest engagement ring for men that there ever was, and I cannot wait. You guys know how much I love gift giving, and just that idea makes me so happy.
Well, you know, at least she ended it by talking about eventually getting a husband and all that. Not that her relationship is like my business or I really care what she's doing, you know, with her relationship, but it would have been a weird look if she went from trying to give dating advice to then being like, oh yeah, no, I'm just marrying myself, and said nothing about like ever trying to get a husband again, you know? It'd be like, dude, what happened to her over the last like 2 weeks? That's a pretty big opinion change. So yeah, that's good. But the whole thing about like, you're going to be with yourself forever, so you might as well marry yourself. That's literally what those Hollywood celebrities were saying 6 years ago that I mentioned. The exact same stuff. I just wonder if she's familiar with that stuff and she's like repeating it now 6 years later, or if it's pure coincidence that she ended up saying pretty much the same thing. Now, as for the, you might as well get a ring for yourself, marry yourself, like that rhetoric in of itself, I think it's really weird. Like, you can take care of yourself and understand that you're going to live with yourself, which is like a very basic concept. Like, what are we even talking about here? Of course you are. Like, what? Without actually buying yourself a ring. Like, it comes off very performative is what I'm getting at, which is also pretty part of the chorus for people like Pokimane, I suppose. It would also be one thing if she bought like a ring pop and was memeing around as a joke, right? But like, she seems like she's completely serious. Even bought herself this like fancy wedding ring. And sure, someone could argue that, you know, that whole like meme example could be seen as performative as well. And I won't even argue that it wouldn't be, because I think, you know, that's still kind of like weird. I don't know, this whole thing's weird, but at least that example is ironic, you know, it's like a joke. Let's take a look at some of the comments Pokimane's getting for her news of her marrying herself. Wow, congratulations. So Savvy says, this is as pathetic as Anita scams Kezian having a wedding-themed birthday. This is so pathetic. Girl, you do not need an excuse to flaunt your wealth. Just buy the diamond if you want without making a big deal about, oh right, then you wouldn't get clout for this pathetic display. Hopping over to the quote tweets, we've got Tectone saying, holy smokes, this is the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Good lord. And then we've got Morg Muse here. Personally, I think this is really sad. I'm an each to their own kind of person, but this is just really pathetic. Then we've got Respect Elves here, making a comparison once again to Anita Sarkeesian in that wedding-themed birthday that she had. I guess you can see that right there. Yeah, pretty odd stuff. And Starlight saying, this is peak narcissism. Holy smokes. Yeah, like I said, the whole thing's weird to me. It's like pretending to be something you're not. Like, oh, I'm gonna pretend like I got married. Like, why don't you, like, dude, if you're gonna say it's empowering to be single or whatever, then just be single and don't pretend to be married. And like, if you want to get married, then eventually, you know, hopefully you find someone that's perfect for you and you have a happy marriage and a happy life and all that. But like, gaslighting yourself about it and like pretending to be something you're not, I don't see how anything good can actually come out of that. But let me know what you think in the comments. Really, really quick, I also want to mention that it was like 2 weeks ago when Valkyrie and Senna were getting really upset with people going to their social media posts and responding simply with that rabbit meme with like the clock is ticking. It makes me wonder if there is somewhat of a crossover with what Pokimane's doing right now. If she saw those responses and is like, I'm going to post how it's empowering to marry yourself or something. I don't know. It could be nothing, but it is interesting timing. If you're not familiar with this whole Senna Valkyrie clock ticking thing I'm referring to, I'll play the Asmon clip video about this. Really good context from Asmongold and his editor, so check it out.
Valkyrie and Senna clap back at Twitter accounts who use the clock meme. Oh, jeez.
Bro, like, you post a selfie, like a girl posts a selfie, if I do, and one of those incel accounts will post my photo with, like, a dumbass, like the rabbit with the clock, and be like, Senna's eggs are gonna dry out before she ever starts a family. Do you consider this success? And then, like, people respond and like hate on it, like bot accounts will, to bump the interaction.
They're not all bots. They're just people that are assholes.
See,
I think it's gonna change eventually.
Sure. I think people are assholes for the love of the game. The entire idea that this is some kind of like a problem owned by incels or something like that is just not true. And so this is some girl who made a post. This is a pretty popular post, and it's got 7 million views. Yes, men should have to pay extra taxes for being single after age 30. The reason men specifically need to be taxed extra is to eliminate the more money, more bitches incentive for success. Ideally, a man's incentive for success should come from providing for his family. It's best if men settle down if you avoid men wasting women's reproductive years. There's no way this isn't a fucking joke, right? Like, this is crazy. Yeah, I'm just saying, right? Check comments. Well, what's this here if I can find it? What are the comments on? Guys, come on.
Guys, I'm afraid our Voldemort has a whole other biological clock to worry about. Jesus Christ, it's so bad.
So yeah, that's some additional context into the Senna Valkyrie rabbit meme thing. Let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comments. This marrying yourself, self-partner thing. Again, ultimately, sure, there's truth to the fact that you're going to be with yourself your whole life, but you don't need to buy yourself a fake wedding ring or put on a fake wedding to face that reality. I mean, at least I sure hope you wouldn't. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you in the comments and in the next video.